Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. We got a great show in store for you tonight. We have funny car driver Paul Lee and Top Fuel driver Krista Baldwin joining us, and we're going to get into the 2024 season and dive into the upcoming PRI show and also things on the horizon for the team. But before we get into that, we have a few messages and we'll be right back after this.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Well, Krista Baldwin and Paul Lee, I want to thank y'all for joining the show tonight so we can dive into the 2024 season. I tell you what, it turned out really great at the end. And then we also want to talk a little bit about y'all's history, how y'all got involved in drag racing, and at what age. I know, Krista, you've been around drag racing probably ever since you could walk with your family, and also we want to talk about your path into the sport. So again, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Welcome, and thank you for coming on.
So, Paul, tell us a little bit about your involvement and how you got involved in drag racing. I want to say it was probably you were around the age of 17 when you actually started racing there in Alco Dragway. Is that correct?
Atco Dragway in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my uncle raced A-Gas Supercharged back in the 60s. I don't know, Willys. Are you familiar with those cars?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he was a local East Coast racer with the Willys Supercharged, and then of course when we were kids, my mom and my aunt, they drug us all to the track to watch my uncle race. But we were 6-7 years old, and we didn't really have any interest in that. We were just playing with the other kids in the dirt at Atco Dragway. Atco Dragway, back then it was everything was dirt,
right?
And I just remember like we were in the dirt and getting dirty. But anyway, that was my first exposure to drag racing, and then when I was about 13 years old, I went to a funny car match race at Atco Dragway, I grew up about 15 minutes from there. And the first time I saw a nitro funny car was Jungle Jim Lieberman doing a 1,000-foot burnout, backing up at 80 miles an hour, Jungle Pam backing him up. And that was the first time I saw a funny car. I remember I was in junior high, and I was there with my friends. We were just watching. I was like, and I just remember it was standing room only. And it was just amazing. I still remember it like it was yesterday. And he was the first pair up, and they took off the line. The flames are shooting over the roof. And back then, Atco Dragway didn't have guard walls against the track, right? It was grass, right? On either side there was grass. And I just remember him going off. He was in the right lane, which is the side we were on watching, and he was off into the grass. And I remember seeing grass flying everywhere, and he never lifted. The flames were still high, and he drove back on the track after being off in the grass, and he beat the opponent in the other lane. I just remember the crowd going absolutely bananas, going nuts. And it was like, that's what I want to do.
Talk about an intro. I mean, Yeah, you're right. That
When I saw that, it just like totally it blew me away, and I was like, "That's what I want to do someday. I want to do that. Maybe not like that, but I want to drive those cars." And that was, and ever since then, when I was 13, my whole life has been dedicated to doing exactly that.
Wow, what an intro!
Krista,
no idea.
how about your growing up and being around the sport and stuff? How far back can you remember when you first went to the track?
Oh gosh, a long time ago. No, I remember, both my grandpa and my dad, they'd be pitted next to each other, and I'd always go back and forth between the two trailers because I had one set of toys in my grandpa's lounge and another set of toys in my dad's lounge. So it just depended on what I wanted to play with that day. But no, I've been at the track since I was, when my mom was pregnant with me. My mom used to back up my dad when she was pregnant with me. So I've literally been on track since I've been in this world. So
Before you're in this world.
Yep. So, but no, it was a great childhood, and I love it so much. I'm dedicating our lives to this, and there's just something to be said. I mean, these cars, if you just take a step back and just think about it, I mean, 12,000 horsepower is absolutely insane. And what we get to do is we get to be on top of a ticking time bomb, and the adrenaline rush is absolutely, I can't even describe it. Like, I bet Paul can't describe it either. Like, it's just a totally different feeling hitting that gas and doing what we do in the under 4 seconds. It's just astonishing. But I love every second of it. I love the people. I love my life. I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Unbelievable. I imagine you have probably a nitromethane immunity since you've literally been raised around it from childhood up.
I still cry. Don't worry. It still gets me.
We all do. The same thing with Paul. Paul started so young around it. You probably have a somewhat of immunity. I see a lot of people who have been doing it a long time, and they're ever warming up, they don't have masks on or nothing like that. And I'm like going, that is the toughest people I've ever seen in my life. Working on a nitro car and being around them, I'm like, that. It's like it just doesn't faze them.
Now, Krista, I know you love the sport because just seeing you around the pits and just interacting with fans from all over, you always have a smile on your face, no matter if you have a bad run. When you have that smile on the face, it just shows to everybody you're just happy to be there.
I am. I honestly am. I mean, how grateful am I that this is my life and I get to, pilot 12,000 horsepower. I mean, even just like I said, the people around there, I grew up with these people, and shoot, I've been with Paul for the last 10 years. I mean, we've become so close, and that is where I want to be every weekend, because that is where my people are. And I just, my dad always said, we're here for a good time, not a long time. I mean, all of this can be taken away in any moment. So you got to really hang on to these memories and might as well have fun while you're doing it.
That's some wise, that's some wisdom right there. I like it. Now, tell me something, Paul, when was the first time you actually went down the track?
When I was 17, actually, I grew up in New Jersey, so technically you had to be 18, right, to race.
Okay.
17 to drive. Back then, I got my driver's license at 17, but I wasn't old enough to race at Atco Dragway. So I borrowed a friend's ID, made a copy of it. And back then there was no pictures on the driver's license back then. So it was just a card. So I used that and I borrowed my mom's car. I didn't have a car. So I used to borrow my mom's slant 6 Duster. It was a 74 Duster with a slant 6 in it. It wasn't a fast car, but it was a car. Right. So I used to borrow the car when I went on weekends to go on dates. And I used to tell my mom, I'm going to use the car. It was Friday night. I want to go, on a date with my girlfriend, which I did, but I took her to Atco Dragway. That was my date. She would come with me, and she was in the cars too, so she would watch me race my mom's car at Atco Dragway. That's how I first started, with a fake ID and saying I was 18, and then going to Atco, and that's how I raced. I raced that car for probably a year and a half, and she never knew it. And it wasn't until I went away to college I was away at college, and then my parents sold the house, and she was cleaning out my closet, and all the trophies that I had won, I kept in the closet. I hid them in the closet. So she calls me up at school. She goes, "Hey, where'd you get all these trophies from Atco Dragway?" So and I finally had to come clean with her what I did, and she wasn't happy. But now, if you ask my mom now, anytime she meets someone, she has to tell the story about how I used to borrow her car, and that's how I started racing. But that's a true story.
Right.
She's very proud now.
Yes,
Very
now
proud.
she is. Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, she goes, "That's my boy, and I'm the one that set him straight." And did
Well,
this.
you know what? I almost got caught. Here's a funny story, because she was a teacher at one of the local high schools that where I grew up in New Jersey, and she didn't teach at my school. She taught at one of the local other high schools, and I remember one day she told me the story. She goes, "One of my students raised his hand, and he said, 'Mrs. Lee,' and she goes, 'Yeah.' She goes, 'I saw your car at Atco Dragway this weekend.' And she goes, 'No, you didn't.' And he's going, 'Yeah, I think I did.' 'Oh, no, you didn't.' It turns out I was there, and this kid told on me, but he didn't know. He just said he saw my car there, but my mom didn't believe him anyway. So
right,
I almost got caught.
Right. She probably asked you, "Hey, somebody said this today," and you go,
"Well, that's what
really?"
she did. She told me the story, and I just didn't say anything.
You brushed it off. Yeah. You had to keep that
Now
secret
that's
for
another
year.
story she'll tell.
Yeah.
Now she's proud of telling. She tells everybody how I started.
Yeah, but I bet that phone call when you're in college and she found the trophies, I bet that was a little awkward for a minute.
Yeah. It was like, well, it's too late now.
Right. But it's like, I don't mean to mention this, Mom, but yes, it did happen. And well, what about you, Miss Krista? What about you? What was the first time that you went down the track?
So I actually didn't go down the tracks when I was 18. I started in a front engine dragster in the Nostalgia Limiter class. 7 seconds, 180 miles an hour was my first taste of going down the track. So I drove that for a couple of years. Then I went into college, and one of the biggest things with my family is I had to get an education. I had to. We're not doing this racing thing until I have an education, I have a career to sustain this racing life.
Right.
So it kind of worked out. But no, then I graduated college, and literally maybe 4 months before I walked across the stage, I got my A-Fuel license with Anthony DeSero, the Nitro University. Mm-hmm. I graduated in December. In February, I made my A-Fuel debut in Pomona. So I was not waiting.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I guess West Coast is really into slingshot dragsters. So every time I see any kind of videos from Formosa or Bakersfield or something like that, It's always slingshots.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, going up for the March meet and
there you go.
The California Hot Rod Reunion, I mean, it was awesome. How do you not enjoy going to those hollow grounds in a front engine dragster, just like what they did, 30, 40 years before that? So it was an awesome experience. I mean, it was tough. I'm not going to lie, but I had a great time. Well,
what you learn as a driver, just like with Paul, I mean, what you learn as a driver being initiated in that, obviously, it taught you so much as far as reacting, not overreacting, and kind of, I can't even say predicting, but trying to get ahead of the car a little bit. And I can only imagine. I've never even sat in a vehicle like both of y'all's, but I imagine obviously it just becomes second nature and muscle memory.
Well, there's no replacement for experience, and what the experience of racing gives you is the racetrack presence. And what I mean by that is knowing where you are on the racetrack. So no matter how fast you go or whatever class you're racing, the more experience you get, the more racetrack presence you have and knowing where you are. I've seen people that have never raced before, and they jump in an alcohol funny car and they have no idea where they are on the track. That's not safe. Right. So there is a lot to say for experience and working your way up the ladder the old-fashioned way. There are, of course, there are people out there that, very rare, but there are a few people out there that grew up in it. Like Krista grew up in it. Del Worsham was one that grew up in it. His first car he drove was a Nitro funny car. That's very, very rare. Right.
Billy Myers
around it so much that he made thousands and thousands of runs in his head. Right. Mentally, because it is mental. Right. And he was able to jump in and get it. But that's very, very rare that a person can jump in a 11,000 horsepower car and actually drive it. Very few people can do that without working their way up the old fashioned way. That's how I did it. I worked, my mom's car was like a 20-second car. And then each car that I got was progressively faster. Right. And then I got into Super Pro, which was a 9-second car. And then I went into the 8s, and then I went into the alcohol cars. And then I went into the funny cars. It was a long, path, let's say.
Right. That makes sense. Mitchell?
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to y'all tonight, which is really good for our young viewers, is I wanted to talk a little bit about y'all's college education. Each one of y'all kind of go into detail and what y'all went to college for, and the degrees that y'all actually have now. Because, like Krista was saying, her family was focused on education. You get your education, then we'll worry about your racing career, which I think is a very good motivator, especially when we look at our junior dragster programs and those young kids coming up through the ranks that, even though they are a very skilled driver, they still need a good education to back them, just in case, their dreams doesn't come true. Or if they don't become a driver, they can go get a college education and still contribute to the sport.
Yeah, actually, one of the biggest things too, and now it's just making so much more sense, and Paul can attest to this as well. This sport takes a lot of money, like a lot, like too much, actually. And
right.
You have to become a business person in order to make these relationships, these partnerships work. I mean, no one just comes up and slaps a sticker on the side of the car anymore and gives you some money for it. It all has to go back to an ROI and the B2B partnerships, and it's cutthroat. Let me tell you, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, and Paul will say it too. It's hard finding funding for these cars at the level that we would like to be at. But to have that college education that I received, I'm able to, put on my business woman's hat and, okay, is this a smart decision, financial decision for me to go to this race if I only have X amount coming in, or whatever the next step is. And so, but Paul, I mean, he did it way further advanced than I did. He went into like totally other careers in college.
Well, back in the 80s, of course, when I'm younger, I want to be a professional driver, right? Like Don Perdome or, one of these guys. But back in the 80s, I don't know if you guys remember that Don Perdome, Don Garlett, Shirley Muldowney, some of the greatest racers in our history of our sport had to sit out because they didn't have sponsors.
Yes.
Right. So,
yeah.
So I'm thinking, who am I, to try to be a professional driver is not reality, right? It's not going to happen, right? Most likely, unless you have a rich family, which I did not.
Right.
So I picked a different path. I said, well, I want to be more like Connie Coletta and Joe Amato. They were successful businessmen,
right,
that were able to race and not rely on having sponsors to race. Okay. So I changed my path. I wanted to be more like those guys. So that's when I went to college. I went to University of Pennsylvania, went to the Wharton Business School. And like Krista said, business is the best degree to have if you're, racing is a marketing sport, right? Business to business, B2Bs, what she was talking about. That's all business related. The companies need a return on investment. So that's what I went back. So I went to college to learn all that stuff. And then I went, even further. I got my master's degree in finance and also my law degree. So I was able, I got all the tools that I needed or that I wanted so I could be successful in not only just in business, but also to be able to relate to potential marketing partners and tying it into business to business programs, with the race team. That was my goal then. And that's what I'm doing now. So it was successful.
Yeah, clearly, that's amazing. Business degree and law degree.
I have my undergrad degree from Wharton. I have a master's degree in finance from Rutgers University. And my law degree is also from Rutgers University in New Jersey.
And then Miss Krista, getting your degree in Arizona, yeah, I'm blown away. That's a lot of time and effort. So I compliment both of y'all.
Well, she's, she understands business. That's why she works in our company, Wharton Automotive Group. She's the head of marketing for our group. and she understands business and she knows how it works, and that's why she's successful in doing her part in our organization.
Oh yes, and she's very
And
very busy doing all that. Jeez, go ahead, Mitchell.
You don't see her sitting down very much at the track. I can promise you that. If you see
my feet
Krista at the
hurt
track,
so bad at the end of the day. I'm like, man, I never sat down today.
Yeah, we do see you scooting back and forth. When we're there, you just see you zip in and zip out, and I'm like going, gee whiz, where's the fire? But
yeah, you're
always
talking
tires.
to people,
right.
But you're always involved. You're talking to people. You're talking to businesses that stop by. Doesn't matter what track y'all are at, just to find out information and all the video graphing that you do, and pictures and stuff to publish it on the page to just keep involvement is just unreal.
Well, and that's the thing.
I don't know where you get the energy from.
I don't know either sometimes, but that's the hardest part about our sport is like it's an in-person sport. It really is. Like you cannot replicate what we do, what you feel, what you smell, what you see, like on TV or on social media. So you also have to take like a step back and like, okay, so what do people want to know about myself or Paul or any of our brands at the Wharton Automotive Group? They want to know the people behind it. They want to know our personalities. And so like Paul goes out on the weekends and does poker tournaments and things like that. People love watching Paul play poker. It's so funny. Like the last couple of races, people come to me like, is Paul playing this weekend? We're in Vegas. And I'm like, no, we're kind of busy. But no, I mean, it's just social media is a way to, express yourself and show people that like you're a car guy, girl. You love this sport. You love, living in it. And so that's what you got to portray.
And the social media has given us a whole new level of marketing, another tool.
Yep.
It's another tool. Like, with Redline, we like to promote Redline oil products, and we show, the team using the products. Krista shows her people using the products. And, it's just another way of promoting our partners, and they've been a great partner.
I totally agree with you.
And I want to tell y'all something, and y'all might laugh, but I bracket race. I drive my car every day to work, and I take it out to the track and race. Just change the tires on the back. It's got over 200,000 miles, and I use Redline oil.
Love it.
Yeah,
over 200,000 miles and still runs constant and consistent where it always has been.
Well, see, and that's the beauty of it is like, okay, so we're like super top tier, like our cars are literally racetrack based cars. Like obviously we're not doing it on the street, but it trickles down, and that's the trickle down effect is that like people see it in, the professional ranks, and then it goes down and goes into your personal car. And that's the beauty. And that's actually the marketing behind it is that, if you go from anywhere 330 miles an hour to, going to the grocery store, this product is for you.
Agreed.
Right.
And also, just like Mitchell was saying, all the companies that we partner with, Redline Oil, Scorpion Racing Products, Mickey Thompson Tires, etc., we use their products. We use their products actually before we actually work with them, and we've been using them for years. It's like Paul. It's like I was telling you. I've used McLeod clutches for years in my dad's super stock car. Still got it in there.
Yeah,
okay.
Robert's got a McLeod clutch in his 56 Chevy.
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
Got a McLeod 10-inch soft lock.
That's
and,
it.
and
That's
I have soft lock. It's the long style. Got that in it. And yep, exactly. And then in my foot brake street car that I run against Mitchell with, okay, I got an FTI ESR 10-inch street converter in it. Okay,
I love it.
And I'm like going, it's kind of unique that we talk to y'all, and with the company you own and run both of them on East Coast and West Coast, clutches and converters, and I literally got both.
So who's the better lever between Mitchell and Robert? Who's the better lever?
Well, I'll be honest with you. That's an interesting story. The last time he and I ran each other was this past year. We pulled each other for first round. So of course, we're going at each other. We both go red. Okay, and Gainesville has True Start. So basically, you have to once the second car leaves, then it will show if a red light came on. Well, I gave Mitchell a slight handicap. Boom, I take off. My red light's on. I'm like, man, okay, I must have been close. We got back. It was a 20 red. His was a 20 red. Mine was a 30 red. We were mad at each other. We're like, what was that? What? I mean, so we were like furious at each other about that because, anyway, long story short, honestly, when we both kept it green, Mitchell has out-averaged me probably the past 5 times we've run each other. Okay, but it's about a 50-50 toss-up on finish line.
Well, good for you. Glad. I mean, you're drag racing. That's what it's all about. The bottom.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you race, you're racing.
We're real good friends until we line up, and then it's cut through.
That's the way it should be.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly how it is with everybody we know. I mean, we're all friends and we'll help each other out, but no, we want to beat each other, and we wouldn't expect it any other way. That's the competition, just like the business that you're in and the sport that you're in. You wouldn't do it unless you love competition.
100%. That's why I do it.
Maybe you love it a little too much sometimes.
That's true. I've lost some sleep. I've got some bruises and stuff like that from working late nights. Mitchell and I both have from working late nights just to get there, and then to do whatever you got to do to compete. So we can totally understand that. But
I was closer to the dial-in.
Yes, you were. I
was closer to the dial-in. I think I was dead on with a 2.
Dead on with a 2, and I was one above. I think I was one above or 2 above. So yeah, no. I mean, honestly, if we'd have kept it green, it would have been close. But I can't lie.
Well, thank you for using our FTI and McLeod products. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm looking at getting an 8-inch for it to step it up a little bit, and he gave me some part numbers to call down there and see about getting one. But yeah, thank you. Sorry, got off topic. I didn't mean to do that. But go ahead, Mitch.
Well, the next thing I want to do is dive into the 2024 season and how it started out. And I wanted to ask you, when did you think the team started to come around and gain a lot of momentum toward the end of the season?
Me or Krista?
That's you, Paul.
You, Paul.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we started off this year with a new team for the most part. We have John Medlin was our consultant the previous year, and he stayed on, and he has a new purpose now. He likes to be a mentor for younger crew chiefs, right? That's how he wants to give back to the sport. So we needed a new crew chief this year, and Johnny Lindbergh came to mind, and talked to John about it, and he said, that guy's perfect. He's smart, and I could teach him, and I think it'll work out really good. So make a long story short, Johnny and I got on the phone, made a deal, and he was our new crew chief. He had never been a crew chief before in nitro categories, but he's a world champion in alcohol. He's a tuner in alcohol. He builds cars. He drives them. And he drove for Jim Head too. So he was an all-around hardcore drag racer. He's like a young Jim Dunn, who lives, sleeps, and breathes the sport, which is what you need to do to be good at it.
Right.
Like guys like Jimmy Prock, they wake up in the middle of the night and make phone calls about ideas they have about running a car, right? That's the way Johnny Lindbergh is, and he's super smart. And yeah, let's give him a shot. And I have no problem giving young guys, a chance, right? So that's how it started. And to answer your question, it's a new team for us, and we started out really good actually at this Pro Superstar Shootout last year. We qualified, ran 86 or 87, 386 or 87, I can't remember, but we qualified, and it was a very tough 8-car show. So it was a good way to start. And then, we kind of got the team gelling a little bit, but I think when we went to Seattle and we went to the final, that's when the car really started to run fast. And these cars need information, right? You just have to make runs. That's how the crew chiefs get information. And we had a lot of new parts on the car that, we hadn't run before. So we needed to just make runs. And I'd say when we went to Seattle and went to the final, we made good runs. We went down the track every time when other teams weren't. And that's when we really started running fast. So from Seattle to the rest of the year was an awesome year. I think if we would have ran that all year long in that time, like we ended the year with, we'd be a top 5 car, because that's how we ended the year. If you look at the points, I think we redid the points, you know, and if we would have went to the race, we would have been like 7th, even missing the races that we went to, we missed. We still would have been like 7th. So I you know, super happy. We won the Pep Boys All-Star call out. We won that. That was awesome. And then we went to the Vegas final and we ran our fastest ETs of the year. So you know, we ended the year great, and the way I'm looking at it is we have a great baseline to start off gangbusters in the first race. They're coming up at the Pro Superstar Shootout at Bradenton in February.
Oh man, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's going to be a great event, and I tell you what, West Buck and Pro has been doing a great job putting that event together. You know, this
Well,
is
that's just so there's no
time
mistaken. West Buck has nothing to do with it. So this is a just pro race. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
got you. Okay.
Last year
Okay.
Wes was part of it, but this year he's not part of it. He's doing his own thing with the pro mod this weekend, I believe. But the Pro Superstar Shootout by Skag Power Equipment, that's a pro race only. We're the ones that are promoting it, running it, operating it. That's a 100% pro race this time. It was a home run last year.
Yes, it was.
It was a home run race. It was for me personally. I've been going to drag racing, participating since I was 17, and that was the most fun I ever had at a drag race in my life. Was the Pro Shootout last year.
Really?
It was just so much fun, and it was our race. It was the professional races that put it on, and it was a home run. It was the greatest time I ever had drag racing in my life. Was that race last year, and now we're number 2 coming up in February.
Do you think a 341's available again?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Oh,
you're going to see it. You'll see it.
I hope so.
Maybe by us.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope it's side by side like 342s. You know,
that would be cool.
I'm not going to lie. You with the 42, somebody else with the 41. Okay, I'm just going to say it.
You know,
you know.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I would. No, I love it when people throw down big numbers to the point that people are stuttering.
And you're going to see it again into this shootout. The weather. We had great weather last year. We're hoping we have that same weather. The track prep by Kurt Johnson was just amazing. He's the best in the business. It doesn't matter what anyone says. He's the best, and he's going to be doing it again. So
I'd agree.
That's our next race, and I can't wait to get there.
I tell you, I don't know how excited Krista was about it, but man, I was super excited that you won the call out race. I mean, I thought it was was like a cherry on top, you know. I mean, it was awesome.
Like she's not gonna like it, you know. Come on.
Okay. So here's
well, I mean, it was just exciting to watch it all happen, you know, and break down to that final round and you capturing the win. And then, you know, like you're talking about Nevada at the Ford Performance NHRA Nationals. I mean, Johnny Lindbergh had that car tuned up. I mean,
he sure did.
It was 380s the whole entire time through qualifying, all the way through to the semifinals. Unfortunately, if y'all could have squeezed out another 380, you probably would have been
something break in the final. We had one of the mag caps break in the final. That's what happened. Right. It was only on 7 cylinders, but that 383 in the semis, that was a heck of a ride. I got to tell you that.
It was wild. No, so the all-star shootout or call out. The funny part is so it was during qualifying, right? During Indy. So I don't think I made it for the first run on Paul's, but I knew he won because I was still racing myself. Second run was in between our 2 qualifiers, so I was able to watch it. I'm like, oh, you won. That's awesome. Now it's the final round for the call out. And I am literally first pair of dragsters and Paul is last pair of funny cars. So I'm literally sitting in the water box, belted in, ready to make my run. And I watched Paul win in front of me. And believe me, the whole car was shaking because I'm like, like,
oh yeah,
it was so funny. And I'm like super excited, and then they're like, okay, fire up the cars. I'm like, oh wait, now I have to drive.
Yeah,
now
I got a job. We've all done that. We've all got caught up in it.
Yeah, and it was cool because I got to, when I made the turn off the track, Paul was already on the tow vehicle back with his belt and the trophy, and I got to go by him, and I was yelling and stuff. It was cool. It was such a cool experience to have.
Was it a little bit of a pedal fest?
Well, no, both cars had the pan pressure switch shut the cars off.
Oh, is that what it was?
So I had a little more momentum than Bob did, and I just beat him.
Okay, I thought it was a pedal fest
too. It was a 424 to 426.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I thought it was a pedal fest, and that's basically that's where you had to call it.
We both coasted across the finish line. We had great races in the first two rounds, especially in the semifinals against Matt Hagan. That was one of my best drag races ever. It was a 396 to a 397. It was a great drag race, really close. And but in the final, it was a coasting event. But that's okay. I'll take it anyway and get it.
It doesn't matter. You earned it. You earned it. You were there, and you crossed first.
Yeah.
And that
was a great day. It was a great day for sure.
That is, and congratulations again on that. That is an accomplishment and a half.
Yeah, especially when we're the ones that got called out every run too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So Ron Capps called us out, and then we raced him. We beat him, and then he could do the call out again, and Matt Hagan called me out, and then we beat him, and then we raced in the final. That was kind of fun.
I think for future that won't happen. I don't think you don't have to worry about that. So and then Miss Krista being right behind you, and I can imagine her being caught up in the moment so much, and excited that I'm like, oh yeah, now I got a job to do. So
yeah, it was so I always explain a race weekend, it's like an emotional roller coaster, just because of the adrenaline and the ebbs and flows, and trying to get excited and get pumped up, like getting in the car and then bringing it back down and all kinds of things. So Paul wins. I'm super excited. Now I have to try and qualify for Indy. I am not in yet. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, please just make it down. All I had to do was like a 380 run to make it into the show. And so I'm super excited, and I hit the gas, and my blower belt came off. So I didn't make the show.
Oh.
So I'm coasting around, and I'm mad at myself. And then I see Paul at the top, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was awesome. And then I get past Paul. I'm like, ugh.
Right. And then
down.
Right. Then he realizes you're not in, and he's like, yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good. But you know what?
Yeah.
It is also the U.S. Nationals. It's still awesome that I got to participate. You got to play the game, and I did it.
That's true. That is so true. Both of y'all being in funny car and dragster teammates, and be able the opportunity to do something like that. I can't even imagine. Indy to me is holograms anyway. It always has been. I'm a sportsman racer, stock, super stock, and stuff like that. So class eliminations is what I live for, and I love it to no end. And Indy is where it's at, obviously. But to get to enjoy all the professional classes and the competition in the air and stuff like that, it's where you're at. So that's where I would. Mitchell and I hopefully get an opportunity to go down to the show next year in Bradenton, because the way, Paul, you were describing it's the feel in the air.
Certainly is. It's like an old school match race, but national event quality racing.
There you go. Hey, is there trash talking that actually happens behind the scene from teams? In all good fun, of course.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh man, because I miss that. I really wish there would be some stuff like that, some trash talking. You know what I mean? No throwing stuff, but I just like it because it builds it up,
Well, sometimes the rivalries, are kind of like behind the scenes, but they kind of start themselves, and by people playing games. Some drivers will play games, and we know who they are, and most of them don't. Most drivers will race straight up, but there's the game players out there, and they're the ones you got to be. And so those rivalries might not be, public knowledge all the time. Sometimes they'll get hot enough where they'll break out, and you'll see it.
Right.
But you might see that again next year. There's people out there that just like to play games, And I'm the kind of guy that I just want to go race and put your car in and let the car do the talking.
No, I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. Sorry, Mitchell. I got
You guys will like to hang you out and play games and wait forever or do this or that. That's, just, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's not
yeah.
my style. But there's guys that'll still do that.
Yeah, we know more than one that does that. But just like you said, I mean, we're not running in fuel cars where obviously timing and staging and stuff's a lot more critical. Burning fuel as quick as you are.
Well,
But
burning fuel for us is pretty critical too, because you run out of fuel is not pretty.
exactly. That's what I mean.
But there's a guy next year when I get to the starting line against them. I don't care if it's qualifying or not. I'm going to tell these guys fill it up because he's going to be staging first. Because I'm sick and tired of his games.
Yeah, either he's going to stage or we're shutting it down. One of the two.
Yep.
I got no problem with that. I look at it as like,
and you'll find out who it is next year.
I look at it as a starter. If both drivers don't go in and you give the nod and neither one moves, I'll sit down. And it's like going, it's between the drivers. Nobody's breaking any rules. There's nothing.
Well,
unsafe.
It's like when it was Clay versus Doug.
Oh man,
Herbert. I mean, you can't make that up. Like that
No,
was
you can't.
such a cool moment to watch. I mean, it sucks for them, but that's the game they played. So
oh, I know it. Boy, Doug did not like that. Gee whiz, Doug did not.
No.
But they both, just like Paul said, they both rolled in. You know what I mean? They both had the opportunity, and neither
Nobody
one
said
did.
you have to stage first, but
Exactly.
It's more like when you put the first light on, then when both drivers have that first light on, and the first driver that lights the second one, well, now you only have 7 seconds,
Right,
to go in.
Right.
You can't sit there all day.
agreed.
Now you could sit there all day with one light lit.
Exactly.
As soon as someone lights the first one, now you only have 7 seconds.
Right.
And there's drivers out there that'll take that whole 7 seconds.
I agree, and you're right, and that's pushing it. But at least there is a timer for that.
Yeah.
Unlike in previous years or decades, I should say. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Miss Krista and Paul. When you turn the top bulb on, and when you see people throw their hands up, you're like going, "Okay, we know what's going to happen now."
These top fuel cars, these things burn a lot of fuel very fast. So you can't really, you can't sit there a long time. If you run out of fuel, you'll blow it up.
Right. You got what, like 22 gallons on board, something like that? Oh,
yeah.
I only put 16 in my tank, and Paul is probably right at 18. So.
Oh, is that max? Is that max capacity?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez, I don't even want to know how much nitro is. We won't get into that.
I might put a spare tank
it's
on it
not
next
fun.
year.
You're gonna have a spare tank. Yeah, I'm gonna be 25 overweight. It's quite all right. We're quite all right. We'll do just fine with that. But sorry, I get carried away with that because I'm fascinated by both y'all doing what y'all do. I mean, as a driver, because we have both a top fuel and a funny car driver. So while they're both driving the same similar animals as far as power plant, okay, they're totally two different beasts. I mean, they control different, steer different, and it's like correct me if I'm wrong. Both cars, when you do a burnout, you have like a throttle stop to control the RPMs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So basically,
the engines are basically identical. They might have some differences in the cam, but it's all in how they manage the clutch.
Got you. And they both have the same configuration clutch, like 6 discs, etc.
Yes, it's by rule. Yes.
Okay. So
6 discs with clutch management.
Okay, now tell me something. Now I hear these cars constantly when they roll in and turn the top bulb on, and it's like I say drag the clutch, but I know you're not necessarily dragging the clutch. This is the only way I can relate. When you're staging to do the second bulb, but I hear the sound change. I hear the sound change of both the top fuel and a funny car. And I just don't know if it's pulling the motor down or what's going on.
That's essentially what's happening. So when we light the top bulb, kind of the sequences, or at least for me, I pull the fuel pump all the way on because I only have it halfway through the burnout process. Pull the pump all the way on. I dump the clutch. So now I'm just holding the car back with just the brake. So now that clutch is ready, like it's centrifugal, so it's moving and it's ready to hit it the second I snap that pedal. And so then I bump it in. But it's essentially when I let the clutch out, the engine RPMs come down a little bit because technically the clutch is engaging.
Now you're putting load on the motor. That's what you
got you. Okay. I didn't know if at that moment, I didn't know, like you said, if you were trimming the fuel different and it was giving a different sound or if it's just all going through the clutch.
It's just the
you just
load on the
described.
motor. Mhm.
Okay. So that explains after you back up from a burnout that the crew chiefs are checking the RPMs or adjusting the RPMs accordingly and stuff like that based on their tune. Okay, now I got some clarification. Mitchell, it took all this time just to get something I've been wanting to know for a while. So, appreciate it. Mitchell.
Well, Krista, I know that you run usually a limited schedule. What are your plans of running in 2025?
Well, I think I'm going to probably do about the same, maybe 8 races. And I think I'm going to invite Spencer Massey to come back and drive the car as well. Just because the more times we run that car, the more consistent we become, the more runs, the more data. And Spencer's quite the wheelman. I mean, God, he's the champion in his own. And so I totally trust him with the car, and he's actually helped me a lot on my driving because I'm not going to lie, this transition year was a little tough for me as a driver, and Paul can say it too. I was really doubting myself halfway through the year, but come to find out there was actually something wrong with my chassis, and I didn't know it until Spencer drove. And so the second Spencer hit the gas in that car, he's like, "Hey man, something's not right." And come to find out, we had the front end of the chassis loaded wrong. And so finally we started getting results at the back end of the year, but it just, things like that just makes me want Spencer to keep driving that car, because then I learn more. And I see Paul like after every run, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it did this, this, and this." And Paul's like, "Don't worry, you still need laps." And I'm like, "But I want to get it down now."
Right.
I
Right.
get so frustrated sometimes.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 32 years.
And yeah, and you want it down now. So that's
Yeah,
perfectly
And a
understandable.
funny thing about Spencer Massey, I just seen him about 2 weeks ago. He was down here at Gainesville racing in a mini million.
Yep, he was
Oh,
down
he
here.
was, Mitchell? I didn't know he was racing. Oh, okay. I didn't know he's in the mini. Man, everybody's getting down here and getting running. And Dallas Glenn was down here running, and
Yep.
I want to thank Bo Butner was down here also, Dave Conley, and so yeah, a lot of people were getting out and getting down here to race.
I don't know if Dave Conley ran that race. I don't know
he
if
was
Dave Conley
he was
ran that
putting
race,
his,
but he ran the one the week before.
okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, and he's going down for the
Fall
Bradenton,
Brawl is
Florida.
the one that he raced.
Okay. I lose track. Down here in Florida, as you know, we race year round,
Right.
except certain holidays, and that's it. There's somewhere to race down here, as long as it's not a hurricane coming through. There is somewhere to race. So that's a really good thing.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, you're talking about running 8 races this season. Is one of those races going to be at the Gator Nationals this year?
I hope so. I really, really do. I haven't been down to the Gators since I made my debut 3 years ago. So I really love that track. Obviously, Grandpa lived at that track for the last 50 years. So
True.
It's always cool being down there and seeing and I get to see all of my fans and friends and my family. Half my family's from down there. So I really hope I'm going to start the season in Gainesville this year. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. We hope to see y'all both here really soon. Now tell us something.
Well, we are going to see you really soon. We're going to see you at PRI.
Oh yeah,
there
that's right. Next week. yeah. I lose track of time. I really do with work and all that. But y'all understand. Tell us something for both y'all. Who is your marketing partners that you have and are working with, and potential marketing partners for next year?
Well, Krista and I pretty much share everybody. McLeod, Silver Sport, FTI, Redline Oil, Gates Belts, Justice Brothers Solvents, and we have Mainline Sales, Power Built Tools, great company here in California. And there are our primary partners, and then we have a lot of secondary partners. Krista, who's our secondary partners?
Gosh, we go through Lincoln Electric. They supply all our welding needs for the whole year. TMS Titanium. In fact, we were just talking about it. We're getting ready to mount some new bodies for Paul, and so TMS is going to supply all the titanium for us. For our carbon composite specialties.
She has a shirt on right now.
Yeah, I do. It's of an injector.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, but no, we have a lot of great people behind us, and it's cool that almost every partner has told both Paul and I that they love being in our pit because we treat them like family. And that's what it is the back of Paul's trailer says the Friends and Family Tour. Like, we're here to have a good time, and we're here to race hard and be very competitive, but we want you to come in and hang out as if it's your own team, and that's what we do.
I like that.
Now, I want to kind of dive in a little bit now into the PRI show that's coming up Thursday, kicking off, on Thursday. And I hear that y'all might have a couple announcements that y'all will be making. Now, we don't want to give that secret out now, but when y'all are ready to do that PRI show, we would like to be there and witness it so we can actually report on it. And I'm kind of excited. I always like new news that is coming out and new things for teams. And so I want also why I've got, people watching and people's going to watch later. If they do come out to the PRI show, y'all are going to be in booth 225. And so I want to tell everybody, to stop by and see y'all, see what products that y'all offer everyone. And are y'all going to have debut some new products that may be coming out there at the show?
Yeah, actually, every brand we put in a new product in the new product display case. So it's going to be super exciting. I mean, SEMA was awesome. Let me tell you, probably one of our best SEMA shows that we've had. And now going into PRI. PRI is always a good time because it's the racers. And we're racers. Right. So it's always we love doing it because it's like being at the racetrack again, seeing everyone before we head into the holidays. But every brand has a new product, everything from FTI. We have a Turbo 400 enhancement kit. McLeod, we have a bunch of new twin disc applications coming out. One of our biggest ones is the 2024 Ford Mustang and competition clutch, that's just all the import JDM type style cars. We have a huge 200 millimeter series clutches that go for the street and the strip. Let's see, who am I missing? Oh, Silver Sport. Silver Sport has a few new Tremec perfect fit kits that we're debuting. So anything that your drivetrain needs, we can meet. Anything from a step above OEM all the way up to a 3,000 horsepower street rod or hot rod. Maybe not the street rod. Maybe that goes on the strip, but still. We have anything from a single disc all the way up to a quadruple disc, actually.
Oh, really? Quad disc clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Those are our little tiny guys, though. So road racing type situation.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
5.5 and 4.5 inch clutches.
Okay.
Little basket clutches.
Got you. Okay. Road racing would
They're
make
just
sense.
so cute. They're like little guys. They're like our big 6-disc clutches will chomp them down in one bite.
It's like years ago, my father and I had adopted a 6.5 inch or 7 inch. It was the twin disc diaphragm dirt car clutch that McLeod sold. We adopted it and actually machined it and put it on a flywheel. Okay, not a automatic one, but a standard shift one. And we just hadn't messed around yet with the shimming. We were trying stuff before it came out. Okay, I mean, nobody at the time had anything like this, and someone told us about inertia wheels and all this. So this is back when Red was working at McLeod, so it goes way back. So we tried a lot of stuff using McLeod products over the years, and with success, but with experimenting. Obviously, some things didn't work out, but I'm not blaming McLeod products. It's just you try things and see how it goes, but that's part of it. But we're definitely looking forward to seeing both of y'all. And if I'm correct, you can buy all your products not only at on your websites, but you can buy it at all the big suppliers, JEGS, Summit, etc., and other places like that. Correct?
Yeah.
JEG, Summit, Turn 14, Turn 5, Motor State, Lethal Performance down in Florida.
Right.
So yeah, they're all our big dealers.
So there's no excuse for you if you need a clutch or a converter or transmission or any of the products in between. There's no reason. There's nothing holding you back from doing it.
Yeah, call them up, and we'll be glad to hook you up with whatever you need, whether it's a standard stick shift or automatic and converter. We can take care of you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, out there listening to this podcast. You heard it right from the man and the woman.
She's in charge of marketing, so she's the boss of all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, she was rattling off.
Yeah, I was actually.
Go ahead, Mitchell.
I was actually going to get Krista.
Mitchell.
I was actually going to get Krista to name all the different things that she does behind the scenes.
Oh,
all the different jobs that you have. It's a long list.
It is, but it's all worth it. So I'm the director of marketing for all 5 brands at the Wharton Group. I'm the general manager on Paul's race team. So I make sure everyone gets there at the right time and they're fed and they're wearing the right polo. And then I own my own Top Fuel team and try to run my own marketing. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things and a lot of different hats, but it's all worth it when you get to hit the gas.
that's true. I want to see your business card. I'm sure it wraps around the back, everything that you
does.
do.
Well,
Paul,
you know
too.
what's funny is, it's funny because Paul keeps acquiring all these companies, and I'm like, Paul, we don't have polos that are big enough for more logos. You got to stop buying stuff. No. Take over the world. That's the plan. Take over the
I
world.
think they're getting
They're getting
There
full.
you go. There you go. It's looking like a Formula One team or a NASCAR.
Yeah.
But no. We want you to continue success. If you want to pursue another company, another market, absolutely. We're all for it.
Well, it's always been our goal in the Wharton Automotive Group is to become the go-to place for driveline. So our specialty and core competency is driveline products, whether it's stick shift, automatics, street transmissions, racing stuff, anything to do from the back of the crank to the drive shaft is our specialty.
Gee whiz. Okay. So I guess the only thing left to buy is Liberty or G-Force on the.
We have Tremec. So they're.
Oh no. We got that too.
Yeah.
You got? Oh, Tremec. Yeah. No. I was saying, I was saying clutchless is what I was going with. Going with that to handle the.
No, we want to sell you a clutch with that transmission.
In fact, we give you a perfect fit kit.
Yes.
There you go, Mitchell. You hear this?
Well, here pretty soon, I'm going to have a new torque converter. So I'm actually leaning really hard on FTI right now for my charger.
As you should.
Yep.
There's a lot of people don't know, but I would say probably 60 to 70% of the pro mod racers out there run our converters.
Oh, really?
And you won't know because a lot of them won't tell you. They're very secretive. Most of them are very secretive. There's cars out there with other stickers on it that have our converter in it. The pro mod races are super competitive, as they should be, but they don't like other people to know what they're running. The only one I can tell you that's running our stuff that doesn't mind is Todd Tutterow. If you run one of our converters and power glides in a pro mod, Todd will be glad to help you if you have any issues. He's our at the track specialist, kind of. He's our kind of I won't say in-house car, but he buys his own stuff. But he's our premier team in the pro mod ranks. But there's a lot of guys that run our stuff that you won't know.
King Tut, I didn't know he ran your stuff.
Oh, he does for a long time, many years. He helps us develop stuff. Oh yeah.
Well, that's funny because I started. That's great. I should say I started going to FTI when Greg had his first shop before he moved it over to DeLand. And my father and I showed up with like 2 or 3 converters, and I'm like, "Hey, I got a little street car," and you know what I mean. Ask him, but this is what I'm doing with it. And he thought about it, and he goes, "Okay, let's go." And the thing I liked about it is then, like today, is anybody called up doesn't matter. And I was just a Joe off the street, basically. And he took the time and walked me through a suggestion on and why, not just, oh, this is what you need. Okay, so he took the time with me, and I had it restalled like once or something like that. But what I'm saying is he took the time with me on a plain street converter. So if he takes the time with somebody on a plain street converter, what kind of time and effort is he going to put in on a full out 8-inch bolt together or whatnot? They're going to put that same time and quality and effort on you as a customer. So from that day on, I've been a customer.
Well, thank you. That's what we aim to do, is customer service and provide the fastest converters out there, which
so
we think we do.
I agree. So I compliment them. You know, I mean, I've bought 4 converters over the years for different cars and different stuff like that. And what I'm saying is we like on how you handle business, taking care of people, taking care of customers. So everybody out there, you can hear that.
And we also have Troy Williams, as he's at the race. He's called FTI on site. And,
you got Troy,
all the big money races, and he takes care of the FTI customers at the racetrack.
Yeah, Troy.
Yeah, it's actually funny because I was just talking to Spencer. Obviously, he rented my car in Vegas, so we had a lot of downtime. And he said that because Troy is there, FTI is one of the best customer service at the track, because Troy and his whole family, they literally have converters that are on the truck, and they will get you dialed in at the race in your pit. And Spencer said there's no other torque converter company that does that at, all these $1 million bracket races and things like that. So.
Right. Yeah.
That's great to hear. I always knew customer service was number one, but I didn't realize that Troy brought a shelf full of converters.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I believe
you might have a power glider too in the trailer too.
Yes. And I know there's some rebuild kits and other things that might be needed. For events like that, and you picked a winner there too with Troy. Woo.
Well, Troy's been with FTI since it started.
Right, him and Greg go way back, and I'm trying to remember if Troy's won the million twice. I want to say twice,
at least twice,
a couple times. And his son just won not the million, but something during that week. Actually, his son has been killing it this year. It's amazing the amount of money that they're
Gary?
No, Gary and Donovan also got a lot too.
Okay.
Very cool.
You're right. You're right. I lose track. I get my wires crossed there. And sorry, but go ahead, Mitchell.
Well, I want to share a couple of photos with everybody, and don't get mad at me. I hope it's okay. I did take a couple of them from y'all's site, and one in particular just sums up Krista Baldwin to a T.
Oh God!
And I want to. You ready for it?
Yep.
This one right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That just shows your personality 100% there, and you're like that. Like I said, all day, every day that I've seen you. And here's a couple of pictures of your car.
Yeah, that's Pomona.
Man, it's beautiful.
Yep.
I like that paint scheme.
Thank you.
I like it. It is nice.
Hopefully Zerd LK likes it too, and they want to keep it on.
Exactly, which they should. They should. Quality team and name brand recognition, rate of return. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, this is my favorite picture, and I took it.
Oh yeah.
What, 2 years ago at Gainesville, while y'all were out there testing.
I remember that.
That was 2 years
ago. That's my screensaver on my telephone.
that run right there. We only went to half track on that run, but it was one of my fastest half track runs ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, not until this year.
Someone
now
came in my office.
Right. That's a good picture.
Someone came in my office at work. I work at the courthouse, and I've got pictures, that I've taken on the wall and stuff. And they's like, "Hey, who took that picture? And does the flames really come out of the car like that?" It's like, "You never been to the drag races?" And they're like, "No." I says, "You lived here in Gainesville all your life, and you never been out to the Gator Nationals?" "No." I said, "Well, if you want to see stuff like that, you need to buy a ticket and go out there and watch." But yeah, that was another one right there.
Oh, good pictures.
That's
That
a
was on
really
the
good
second
picture.
run. I think y'all.
That's
Yep.
a really good picture, Mitchell.
I
And
want to
believe
say
it or not, that's
after.
with my cell phone.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure after this run, you came up to me and you're like, "Do you want these pictures?" And I'm like, "Well, of course I do."
Yeah, Mitchell's good about that. He is one to share any pictures that he takes of racers and stuff like that. He shares it with them to help promote, their companies, their sponsors, and stuff like that. And that's what we want to do, is to try to help in any way that we can. So
And,
that's good.
and what's funny, when I came over to talk to Paul at the Gator Nationals, I think that same year, one of your sponsors, they were like, "Hey man, I'll give you money for that photo." I'm like, "You ain't got to give me no money. Give me your email address. I'll just send it to you." He's like, "No, you are to get paid for that content." I was like, "No." I says, "Give me your email. I'll send it to you so you can put it on your wall."
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's just the way I am. Someone loves something as much as I do, I share it with them.
Yeah, we totally agree. I got to ask y'all a question, and we ask everybody this, both of y'all. I know you're driving your dream, okay, Top Fuel and Funny Car. I know you're driving it, but if you had an opportunity to drive anything else, anything, and it doesn't have to only be drag racing, it could be anything, what would it be?
Well, for me, I already did it. Last year, I drive in a Lamborghini Super Trofeo in the IMSA
Ooh.
series. So I did a test day at the track out here in Palm Springs, Thermal Racetrack. I don't know if you guys have heard of Thermal, but it's a track out in Palm Springs area. And my friend owns a Super Trofeo car, which is a trophy class car. It's a Lamborghini series.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a factory race car from Lamborghini, and you only race against those other factory cars, and you can't modify them. So all the cars are identical. So
wow.
It's all driver, right? You can't modify them. You can't do anything to them. So that's pretty fun. If it wasn't for the conflicting dates of their races versus ours, I have a chance to actually race in the Super Trofeo series. But like this past year, 5 out of the 6 dates conflicted with NHRA. So I couldn't do it. But in the future, that's something that I will probably do.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Miss Krista?
I'm Top Fuel till I die.
Nothing else.
I mean,
you're living your dream. Okay.
I will, if Paul ever so wants to let me take a ride in the funny car, I would try that. But other than that, I don't know. Like, I already make the coolest car in the world, fastest car in the world. I don't know what you can top with it.
No, you're right, and you made me think. We ask this of all people that we interview, because sometimes you'll get some unique answers, just like what Paul said. Okay, and but I would think, you being born and raised on the West Coast, around the March meet and stuff like that, and you doing slingshots, obviously top of the line there. I would think fuel alter. I would,
it's a little
that's
scary.
Coming from somebody who races and drives a Top Fuel car, to say that's scary. I'm like going, okay. Once again, didn't expect that either.
So we're both racing at the top level of what we worked for my whole life. Like, since I was 13 years old, I wanted to drive a nitro funny car, and that's what I do, and that's my priority. I could race anything I want. That's what I want to race. But something different once in a while, like the Super Trofeo. I'm a car person, so I also like, anything with 4 wheels and a steering wheel and an engine. I'm all for it. So the Super Trofeo car is different. It's different. Nothing will replace Top Fuel.
Right,
nothing.
Of course.
But it's something else to do that would be fun. Yes, I'll probably do that sometime. And I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I'm getting older. I'm probably one of the older drivers now that John Force is not driving. I am the oldest funny car driver. So I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do it. I'll do as long as I am able to, and I'm good at it.
I told him that Grandpa went to was 90. So
yeah.
You're right.
Funny
You're
cars
right.
are a little different.
But Chris didn't drive at 90, did he?
He drove up until a week before his 90th birthday when he
Sure
stepped
did.
out of the car.
I'm sort of
So I
thinking.
might have to switch cars with Krista. I might have to go to the dragster
There we go.
someday.
In my mind, I'm like splitting hairs. I'm like, he didn't drive till he's 90. I'm like, listen to what you just said. It's like going, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing with a wonderful history there. And Paul, you got your start on a fuel car with what, an Al Segrini?
Yeah, the first time I ever crewed. Well, I was drag racing my own car then, but
Right.
yeah, I met Al Segrini back in the early '80s, and he invited me to join his Super Brute team back in the early '80s. And I was a gopher crew guy. That's the first time I worked on a professional team, was Al Segrini's Super Brute car back in the early '80s. And him and I are still friends to this day. He still texts me before in every race. We still text back and forth. We're still friends. He'll come if he comes out to the race. He'll always come by, and he keeps in touch with me on the phone. So yeah, that was my first job back in 1981 on Al Segrini's car.
An absolute legend in the sport. And I absolutely loved his cars, because some people are superstitious on having green cars, and he wasn't, clearly. And I mean, and Mitchell, some of the most beautiful cars you ever saw.
He was really one of the first. He was the first guy to really make everything professional, like the race tractor trailer painted up, starting line uniforms. Back then, the guys wore T-shirts to the starting line. He actually was the first guy to actually made starting line shirts that we actually wear to this day. We have shirts that we wear at the starting line. He was the first guy who did all that stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that. Know that. But I always liked just how clean and professional, like you said, his stuff.
That's what he was. Everything was clean and professional. They were sponsored by Fabergé, which was a big company at the time. So everything was spotless.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That makes sense now. Like I said, I didn't know the backstory, but yeah. But to get your start on that, I mean, first of all, you fall in love with funny car watching Jungle Jim, okay, and then starting you're working on a funny car with Al Segrini, and working your way up from there. On your alcohol car, did you run with Bob Newberry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bought my first alcohol funny car in 1987, and I didn't have enough money to put it all together at once. It took me a year to buy all the parts and pieces. When I got money here, I bought this. When I got some more money, I bought a set of heads. When I got some more money, I bought this part. I mean, I just basically took me a year to piece it together, and I started in 1988.
Right.
So Bob Newberry was the guy who taught me how to drive an alcohol funny car. Yes.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Back in the East Coast, I mean, there was Frank Manzo and there was Bob Newberry. Frank was very competitive. He still is. And he didn't want to teach anybody anything. He just wanted to beat you, right? Where Bob Newberry actually sold engine parts. So he actually was, we were a customer, right? So he actually is the guy who actually taught me how to drive, not only just to drive an alcohol funny car, but drive it the right way, how to win in the car. There's lots of people that know how to drive the car, but not a lot of people know how to win in the car. And what I mean by that is the consistency. The alcohol funny car is a harder car to drive than a top fuel funny car. Because it's a lot more mental to do the same thing, like loading the clutch. A lot of people they leave off a stop, but to do it the right way, like Bob explained to me years ago, is you got to load the clutch yourself, which is very touchy, because once you start letting the clutch pedal out, the car's wanting to move, right? It's starting to engage, and then you have to hold it with the brake. And that's how the optimal staging procedure is with an alcohol funny car, is loading the clutch yourself, not leaving off a stop like most people do, because you won't be consistent when you leave off a stop.
Right.
He said you'll be consistent when you load the clutch yourself. And that was the most important thing he ever taught me, because as I got into better cars, as my career progressed, I was able to win in the class because the crew chief could tune it when you do exactly the same thing every time, and leaving it the same, because you have to rev the car up. And when you load the clutch, the RPMs start coming down. So you have to compensate for that. Okay, if the crew chief says leave at 7,000 RPM, well, you got to bring it up like 72, because when you load the clutch, it's going to pull the motor down to 7, right? So that's the hard part about it. And then you got to leave and then shift, and there's a lot to it. But Bob Newberry was a big part of my life for sure.
And then you stage it on the handbrake, basically, with that circumstance.
With,
and I tell
with
you,
the RPMs and your throttle pedal and your clutch foot, just holding the clutch at the exact moment it's starting to engage.
And my thinking is, especially in that era, there's only 4 people that I would want, if I was serious, and obviously you were, to be trained in an alcohol car. Manzo would be up there, Newberry, Brad Anderson, and Ken Veeney.
Yeah,
okay, and then you could throw Vern Motes in there too. But
you name those 4 guys. They're the pioneers right there. Those 4.
Exactly, and I'm like going, so
Manzo you're going to get anything. He just wanted to beat you.
Yeah, and he did. Oh my!
He did. It took me 18 years before I ever beat him.
Really? Oh man, but that's saying something when you beat him. That is saying something. I mean, so I find that interesting that you did. You were trained by.
Well, I raced in Division 1. Think about it.
Yep, exactly.
So Bob Newberry and Frank Manzo are in Division 1, right? That's where I'm in division. So when you go to a division race, it's an 8-car show. You're going to race one of them at every race.
Yeah.
Right. Think about it. You're either going to race them in the first round, or if you win first round, if you don't race them, you're going to race them in the second round, because they're always 1 and 2 on the other side, right? So you're going to race those guys. I lost to one of those guys every race for 18 years.
Jeez. Okay.
That's how you learn to win. You either learn to be better, or you're going to get your ass kicked for, excuse my language,
it's true. It's true. My dad
kicked my ass for years. He's the best. There's no question. He's the best.
That's the only way you get better, right?
That's right.
There you go. Sorry, Mitchell. I didn't mean to go off topic again, but
no, y'all are good. I know we've been a little over an hour. I know y'all got a lot of stuff to do, and I want to thank both of y'all for joining us tonight, and shedding some light on the 2024 season. I really think that there are great things in store for next year for you, Paul. I think y'all are going to be very competitive. You're going to be one of the teams out there people better start looking out for.
That's the goal.
Yep. And Miss
He already
Krista,
is. Don't worry.
And Miss Krista, your season's going to be excellent.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. You got the motivation, the drive, the wanna, the skill.
She has all that for sure.
She has all that. So absolutely, you have what some people clearly don't have and want. Okay, you have it. So you're going to get there, and you're both going to have so many sponsors all over your cars that you're just going to have to start shoe polishing on the tires. It's going to be ridiculous.
Good. We'll build a different car. That's good. That's a good
There you go. Build a station wagon just to put all the sponsors on it. Jungle Gym style. But yeah, like Mitchell said, thank y'all so much for coming on with your busy schedule. I know y'all getting prepared for the PRI show like us, but y'all in a much bigger manner.
Well, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes,
We look forward to talking to you when we get up there.
See you next week.
Sounds good.
See you
Definitely. And
next
if y'all don't mind, when y'all showcase those new parts and pieces, we would love to take pictures of it and post it to the page with y'all's logo.
Yep, come on by. I'll give you a whole tour.
Sounds good.
Great.
We'll take you up on that. Thank y'all too very much. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
See you guys.
Take care.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
I tell you what a great show, talking about the 2024 season, also talking a little bit about their history and how they got involved in drag racing. I think it's really important to touch base on the history of where these drivers come from, different walks of life. But there at the end, we all love this sport. No matter if we start out at 17 years old or you started going out to the track even before birth, and Krista Baldwin's in her history, just really great. And, of course, we can't wait to the PRI show to get here. I'm packing this weekend. I'm going to start packing my stuff up. We, tell our viewers we got a lot of people lined up that we're going to be interviewing. We're going to be sharing a lot of videos, a lot of photos, just for those who cannot make it to PRI, and maybe try to encourage them to at least come and participate once, and walk the floor and get to talk to people. There's going to be a lot of drivers there, especially on the NHRA side. NHRA is going to have a booth. They're going to be doing interviews. One guy in particular that we are really good friends with is Bobby Fazio. They're going to talk to him. And Robert, tell people a little bit about some of the people that we're going to be interviewing on the floor.
Okay. I got a list over there I'm looking at.
I put you on the spot, didn't I?
Yes, you did. I like what you did. OTS. and also going on, before I mention that, thank y'all everybody for backing Mitchell and I so much like you have by following us on Facebook, also the YouTube channel. Okay, that's continuing to grow, and also our Spotify channel. That slowly we're adding to it and gradually picking up, and also my personal Facebook page and YouTube channel, Simpson Competition. We appreciate your support so much. And but like Mitchell was saying, I got to hold up.
He's going to go grab the list. That make sure that we don't miss anybody. And of course, after he goes through the list, we're probably going to add at least a couple more on there. And we're hoping to also go ahead and start scheduling to do interviews in 2025. Starting in January. Of different drivers. We're going to try to get some people who work on the car as well, behind the scenes, not just drivers, but those who work on the top side, the bottom end of the engine, supercharger. I think it's very important to get those individuals on and talk about how they became into the sport. Either they were grown into it or they just were drawn into it because they love racing. So we're going to try to even get a few of them on as well.
Absolutely, because we not only recognize the drivers and the promoters and track owners and stuff like that, we also recognize the crew members and the people in the marketing department, the people behind the scenes that you typically don't see that are putting in tremendous amount of effort to make this sport continue. And we appreciate all their hard work, and we want to recognize them in our own ways. Do you want me to read off the companies, Mitchell, or you just want me to give you a number?
Oh, if you just want to jot through the names, you don't have to go through the companies. A lot of people kind of know the companies that are being represented by these gentlemen and ladies.
Okay, well, Ryan Rawson is one of them. Jeff Turk. Jason Burton, Mark Betty, Zach Collins, Lake Speed Jr., Shane Wakely, Michelle Lackey, you'll remember her, Miss Track Boss, Mr. Bobby Fazio of Driver's Interview with Bobby Fazio, Nolan Jamelin, or Jamora, is just to name a few. David Dow, Leslie Horn, Marty Reinhardt. I'm going to stop now. Right. We have a Tony Gagne. We have a long list, and we only have 2 days to do.
We're going to be hustling.
We're going to be hustling, and hopefully we can. Now we got 2 more. We got Miss Krista and Paul. Hopefully we can get everybody in a time frame, because we really look forward to seeing everybody. And if you see us and we don't see you, whatever like that, just come over and say hello to us. Be more than happy to talk to you. We really enjoy what we do, and we enjoy sharing our experiences and meeting new exciting people like you heard tonight, and learning more about them. But we got a lot. We got a lot going on. We're going to share about our new upcoming partner, our new upcoming marketing partner for next year. And I'm not going to say it, Mitchell. I'm going to wait till we're there. And you want to. I see you're like, but like I said, we have a couple things in store we're working on behind the scenes. We have many people lined, or I'll say many. We have several people lined up. We're trying to get our schedules worked out with each other to come on the show. And like I said, as always, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, please reach out to Mitchell and I. I'll be more than happy to talk to you or listen to your suggestions and go from there.
Yeah, and just as we're closing, Robert, I just want to let everyone know, yeah, we know we have a couple of glitches here and there. They've been having problems with the internet service through pretty much North Florida today. And so I know it was kind of like you'll see a little lag in that, but we can't help those things. Those things are a little bit out of our control. I'm probably frozen up right now. But we tried to go on through the show and finish it. And I tell you what, it was a great show. I really enjoyed having Paul and Krista on tonight. Really good time. And again, keep on following us. We're looking forward to another year of bracket racing at Gainesville Raceway. And if everything goes good, we're going to bring you every one of those races live on our Facebook page and YouTube. And, we might even be able to download them on Spotify, but we'll see if we go that far.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about those.
It's kind of rough, and it's kind of really, really long. I mean, some days it can be a 16, 18-hour day at the track. We could start at time runs at 10 o'clock, and we may not get done till 2 or 3 o'clock Sunday morning, and have to turn right back around and do it all over again Sunday morning. But we appreciate all the support. We're inching in on 17,000 followers, and the traffic is unreal on the page. Over 400,000 people per month is visiting the page. And please, if you visit us, you like the content that you see, please like us, follow us, and keep on adding to that total. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I want to turn it over to Robert real quick as we're closing. I want him to talk about Simpson Competition and how you can follow him on his page as well.
Oh, thank you, Mitchell. Yeah, once again, you can go to my Facebook page, Robert Simpson Facebook page. You can also go to my racing side, Simpson Competition. And also, I have a YouTube channel I started a little about a year ago, and it's mainly just local racing that Mitchell and I do. But also, I've had an opportunity to go to the Tri-Fi Nationals and the World Foot Brake Nationals. And I also had an opportunity to go to a no prep race at Shady Side. And those videos are on there. And that is on the YouTube channel on Simpson Competition. So we appreciate it. So if you can go there and support, also subscribe, follow, it's appreciated, because every little bit of that is encouraging, and it keeps it going. Now, also, like Mitchell said, we're inching up on 17,000 on Facebook page, and also we're getting closer to 600 on the YouTube channel for On the Spot Motorsports Media. We ask you to continue to share, subscribe, follow, because Mitchell puts a lot of good information on there. He works very hard to keep information up to date on all the different latest news of the racing, not only professional rank, but sportsman ranks and different tracks. Please, if you're a track out there and you are not on Mitchell's radar, just reach out to Mitchell, okay, and have a flyer of your upcoming race, of a big race coming up next year, whatever. He will absolutely post it on there, and we'll help promote it any way we can. Even if you're on the other side of the country, it does not matter. If somebody watches or hears it or sees it, it might be in the area, be able to attend. So we ask you to continue to support those that support us, like Redline Oil, and in my case, Mickey Thompson Tires, Competition Products, just to name a few. But we really do appreciate everybody and all their help and support. Mitchell?
Definitely. And don't be getting sick, Robert. We got a lot of work to do next week.
No, it's drainage. It's just drainage, man. It's okay. I'm like you, man. I'm out hustling every day, working all the time. So you're like You don't get a chance to slow down at all. And we're not going to have a chance to slow down. I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be busy, but looking forward to it.
See you later, everyone. Thank you for watching.
All right,
and if you didn't get to
everybody.
see all of this, if you didn't get to see everything, go back and watch it on our Facebook page or YouTube. And it will be uploaded on Spotify soon. So thank you and good night.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.